Hello. After completing the leadership team training plan, I will now be providing some reflections, logic flow, and overall summaries of what I did. When creating a leadership team, as I've learned through my readings this week, as well as the discussion posts and other resource material I was accessed to, it is very important when creating a leadership team that you create a diverse leadership team. And diversity is not only just in years of experience and leadership traits, but also the roles they play on campus. If you look at my leadership team through this document, you'll see that I've selected a multitude of people with different years of experience from 25 years to 2 or 3, 4 years, all different roles from teachers, counselors, campus supervisors, and coaches, as well as different leadership personality traits with coming with different strengths and different areas of growth, but all centered around wanting to make sure Rio Mesa is heading towards its mission and vision, and their passion for the school and passion for our students and other stakeholders has never been in question with these people. Now, as I began this session, the three-part session, the first part I really wanted to focus in on making sure that I promoted their professional development and their virtues and their norms and their skills. Through doing this activity where it's a race to greatness is what I called it. I'm listing off all these character traits that these leaders should have, or some should possess, and we'll be able to start to see that even though, as I stated before, a lot of my leaders are coming from different walks of life and different years of experience and roles on campus, they'll start to see that they have similar characteristics and character traits as someone next to them, even though they might not be in the same circle of influence. And so that makes them empowered and gives them the confidence to know that there are other people like them on campus, making sure that I'm equipping through my resources these leaders as they go into their subgroups to be the leaders, be the voice of reasoning, and help influence and push their subgroups and stakeholders towards our mission and vision. Now, this training encourages a lot of values of individual freedom as well as kind of democracy. And you'll see that democracy and group work come into play in that second lesson. That second lesson is about them going in and investigating what pride means at Rio Mesa and what it stands for, how to represent it, and more importantly, an activity that we could use and push forward to our students eventually. So, the second activity is all about is getting these six people together to create a little presentation, show us what pride means to them, and more importantly, what Rio Mesa pride, which each one of those terms means to them, and they'll be presenting that, and it'll be cool and interesting to see how different leaders with different experiences at Rio Mesa and even new teaching methods from the new teachers coming just out of credentialing programs and other educational facilities, what they provide to the table, as well as these veterans that have had experience maybe overruled their educational history now at this point in their career, that could help show how pride is being done at Rio Mesa, and more importantly, that our legacy and culture has been maintained, and if it hasn't, what ways that we could improve upon it. Now, in day three, I talk about wanting to really kind of get their individual freedom, individual skills, along with those individual leadership traits that we talked about as they find out what type of leader they are. Well, on day three, I want them to create the IB learner profile. One of the big things is that I wanted to make sure that my training's aligned with the organization, my school's mission and vision. And as Rio Mesa, we are supposed to be a globally minded school that is pushing our students to become real world problem solvers and high contributors to society. And IB, International Baccalaureate, is all about making sure that our students are globally minded and understanding what leadership and character traits they possess. And so for the third day, I wanted to put my leaders through that investigation and self-discovery process of finding out what IB profile they fit. Who is there? What is their IB profile? Again, this is another activity that I would like to have our students do on their own as well. But I want to run it through my leaders to make sure that something that I'm seeing that could hopefully bring beneficial benefits to our students and even maybe our families if we extend it through our communication platforms of Parent Square and Google Spaces, that I want to see it worked well with these leaders, get the honest feedback about it, but more importantly, give these leaders the tools and equipment to see what their learner profile is. And one of the biggest issues that we have seen as a school is that we have a lot of teachers on Rio Mesa's campus that don't know what being an IB learner is, and that IB learner pedagogy and almost like a lifestyle learning style. And so making sure that we do this activity with my 6 leaders who coming from all different walks of life, where people that are heavily involved in the IB learning culture, people that have been teaching for 25 years plus, that have seen our school turn into an IB learning school, and those that have just shown up on Rio Mesa's campus for the first time in different roles, from campus supervisor to counselor to teachers, so that we all have our own personal IB learner profile. Because the biggest thing at our school at Rio Mesa is that being an IB school is not, it's not about the content, it's about our learning, how we learn. It's a system of learning, it's a style of learning. And we want to make sure that our leaders are not only aware of that style, identify their strengths within that style, and help teach and guide the next generation of educators and students on our campus to become IB learners. Because one of the biggest issues that we have seen is that we have a lot of people on this campus, as I stated, that don't know how they are an IB learner. And using my leaders on campus to align my training so that we get a mission and vision to help direct our school to where we need it to be is very important to me. But overall, with with these 3 activities, these 3 resources provided for my leaders, and the whole building about the relationships of these leaders, it's all about making sure that we have, as the head of it all, is that I have people in all different places that can help spread the message, support everybody, and build up our community and culture. It's very biblical. It's a very biblical model that you get to see from some of the best leaders. And I would like to replicate that model in my educational field of study. So that was some of the logic of reasoning of what I did for those 3 days, making sure I equipped my staff members, equip my leaders, and make them go through these activities that we want our other students and stakeholders to go through, so that we not only lead by telling, but we lead by example. And I think that's one of the biggest things we as leaders must keep at the forefront of our mind, leading by example. That's one of the things we learned as well. And leading through doing the activities, through communicating, and learning the pros and cons of what we need to do to adjust to make them the best. So through all this, I hope my leaders begin to identify their strengths, identify others' strengths, and hopefully have others' strengths support their areas of growth, making our school the best version of itself beyond just academic success. Thank you.